one day, this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold
Harvey Elwood, 93.7 FM. We're here at the Martin Luther King Park in 5 Points, Columbia, South Carolina, for the Martin Luther King Day celebration. And of course, I have Dr. Henry N. Tisdale, the president of Claflin University, here. And I just want to get some comments from you, Dr. Tisdale. Tell us about the importance of today and Dr. King's dream as it pertains to Claflin University.
Thank you, Mr. Elwood, and thank you for being here and being supportive of me and Claflin University, and taking some of what happens here back to our hometown of Orangeburg. This is very important. The celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Anytime that we have an opportunity to lift up his life, to lift up his legacy, and to celebrate his achievements, we all are pleased to be a part of that. So I'm pleased to be a part of this program today here in Columbia, South Carolina. And I know that we're going to say some things and we're going to remember some things that will be very relevant based on Dr. Martin Luther King's life. And I'm looking forward to sharing a few of my comments with the audience today.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that we know, Claflin University is about inclusiveness. What does Dr. King's message mean in terms of that inclusiveness as well, if you will?
You're absolutely correct. Claflin University was founded out of protest, people protesting for equality. Claflin today is still about diversity, inclusion, and equity. And that was Dr. King's message, that we should come together. There shouldn't be two America. There shouldn't be a class divide. There shouldn't be black versus white. There shouldn't be men versus women. There shouldn't be poor versus those that have. And today, Claflin University is still trying to carry forth those messages through our long-range planning, through the diversity that we have on our campus, by encouraging others to join us in celebrating diversity, celebrating the life of Martin Luther King. We shall overcome, marching hand in hand, brothers and sisters all together.
And one of the wonderful things about it is that you had the privilege, many people have not, but you had the privilege of seeing Dr. Martin Luther King back in 1965 while you were a student at Claflin University. You want to tell us about that, if you will?
Well, it was really a remarkable experience, one I shall never forget. I was a student at Claflin University in 1965 when Dr. King visited our campus. He stood on the bandstand in the middle of Claflin's campus for all of Orangeburg to hear and experience. And the man was powerful. You knew that he was special. You knew that his message was one that would live forever. You knew that he was giving his life, he was giving his all, that all people would have real equality and real economic opportunities.
Fantastic, just phenomenal, just wonderful. And so that message inspired you to become the president, or one of those things that inspired you to become president of Claflin University. Would it not have been that inspiration in your life?
Well, there were many experiences at Claflin University that made me the type of leader I am today, and that was certainly one. I think we all have Dr. Martin Luther King as one of our role models. We all have his principles. I think we all want to make certain that we are servant leaders, and he was a servant leader for all times and for all people.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tisdale. We look forward to your comments and remarks.
Okay, thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's truly an honor and privilege to serve as your speaker for the 29th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. This afternoon, we bring you greetings from Claflin University, the first institution of higher education to give full access to African Americans, the oldest historically black college or university in the state of South Carolina, and today enrolling 2,000 students and recognized as one of America's best colleges. And I'm so pleased to see so many students here today because students, we invite you to consider Claflin University. And it's not, we're not unknown here because as we look at one of our largest freshman classes coming in this past fall, we recognized that Orangeburg County was no longer the #1 feeder for new students coming in. It was Richland County, the #1 county sending students to Claflin University. Thank you very much. If he were with us today, I believe that Dr. King would be very disappointed in the lack of real change in America as it relates to racial justice and economic justice. He'd be distraught in observing the status of poor people, black, white, yellow, red, and brown. Yes, he'd be disappointed to see the continuing disenfranchisement of people of color and the continuing existence of the glass ceiling for women in the 21st century. I'm certain he asked the question. Dr. King would ask, when is real change and true equality coming to America? When will there be genuine equality for all to include good jobs, education equality, decent housing, social justice, quality health care, equal political influence and representation? I'm sure he'd ask, when will the dream be fulfilled? When we think of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebrations, we often think of the "I Have a Dream" speech he gave in Washington, D.C., August of 1963. You know, you remember it. It's the event in which many of us claimed we participated in. And we were right there, marching right beside Dr. King, or at least right behind him. Yes, we were there. Well, I must confess that I was not there. I was really in Rochester, New York, taking a little break from Claflin University, working to make some money so that I could return to Claflin University, which I did. But of course, I did get an opportunity to meet Dr. King on the campus of Claflin University just 2 years later. In this America, he said, millions of people experience every day the opportunity of having life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in all dimensions. And in this America, millions of young people grow up in the sunlight of opportunity. But tragically and unfortunately, there is another America. This other America has a daily ugliness about it that constantly transforms the ebullience of hope into the fatigue of despair. In this America, millions of work-starved men off the streets in daily search for jobs that do not exist. In this America, people are poor by the billions. They find themselves perishing on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. End of quote. Now, this excerpt from this speech could very well describe the state of affairs in America today as it relates to real racial justice and true economic justice. In this 1967 speech, The Other America, Dr. King also cautioned us that the struggle ahead would be much more difficult because the struggle ahead would be for genuine equality. Dr. King said, "It's much easier to integrate a lunch counter than it is to guarantee a livable income and a solid job." He said it's much easier to guarantee the right to vote than it is to guarantee the right to live in sanitary, decent housing conditions. He said it's much easier to integrate a public park than it is to make genuine, quality, integrated education a reality. He also said in that speech that we must wake up and see racism for what it is, and to know that it is still alive. Now, in this speech, he also surmised that it was not always just about civil rights and desegregation, but that racial justice and economic justice go hand in hand, and you can't have one without the other. He also went further, and as a matter of fact, he said when beginning this speech that he wasn't going to talk about Vietnam, but he got carried away, and he ventured into talking about the Vietnam War, how the war was diverting attention from the civil rights movement, diverting resources from the country's Great Society program, a program that was designed to eliminate poverty, and that the war was destroying the lives of thousands of the promising young men of our nation and destroying the lives of little boys and little girls in Vietnam.
Here with two of the most important leaders in the state of South Carolina, as far as I'm concerned. Well, Senator Jackson, good to see you, and of course Antoine C. Wright. Tell us about the significance of the day and the importance of it being here in Columbia and what you guys are doing, if you will.
Well, this is significant because it recognizes the legacy of Dr. King. And it's so important that as we honor someone in our community who we lost, Mr. Durham Carter, who to me just represented everything that Dr. King stood for.
Tell us about Mr. Carter, if you will.
Okay, he represented community. When you thought of the community, you would think of Durham Carter. This building is what it is today because of Durham Carter. This neighborhood is what it is today because of Durham Carter. Quite honestly, Darrell Jackson is who he is today.
Did you play ball here when this was Valley Park?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Played ball here when this was Valley Park, and I was for 48, so we would have to come up here to play the boys from Valley Park. Jesse Robinson and all those guys kind of handed it to us, but it was a great park and still is, man. Yeah.
And this young man to your right, who is this young man here?
A great young man. Yeah, he will make you forget Darrell Jackson even exists.
Well, one of the wonderful things about the relationship that you have, and I've been saying this so often to people, is that what you've done is you've embraced a brilliant young man, breathed your energy into him. That needs to happen more places.
Absolutely.
Dr. King was a 26-year-old student when he led the Montgomery bus boycott. Clearly, this is what you've done.
That's right.
And so when other people talk about leadership, you actually are living that.
Well, and I'm an example. Someone did that to me. I was a student at Benedict College, and people gave me an opportunity. Henry Ponder and great people like that, Lawrence C. Richardson. Took a young man in his 20s and gave me a seat at the table, man. And I am who I am today because of that. So, yeah.
Antoine, tell us about your leader and tell us about today's event, Dr. Martin Luther King celebration here.
First of all, I'm just happy to be here as we honor the legacy of Dr. King. Dr. King stood for a lot of things, but the one thing he did in all his standing was he created strong, wide shoulders for future generations to stand and lean on. And I'm a benefit of that. Because of Dr. King's leadership, the Durham Carters exist, and because of Durham Carters, the Darrell Jackson exists, and because of Darrell Jackson, Antoine C. Wright can be. So I am because they were. And I will be because they are.
I've got the mayor of Columbia, our good friend Steve Benjamin, here for Martin Luther King celebration. I'm so glad to be in Columbia with you.
Absolutely, Brother Harvey. Glad to have you here.
Tell us about the significance of where we are, your life, and Martin Luther King, if you will.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think when people really, really study the life of Dr. King, hit the scene when the Montgomery bus boycott at age 26, He gave his fantastic speech in 1963. 2 years later, won the Nobel Peace Prize, the youngest recipient ever, and died a very young life at 39 years old. And it shows you, and I hope that this is a lesson that most of us take from this day, that you don't have to wait till you're an old man like me or like you to make an impact.
Exactly.
That just as Dr. King said, everyone can be great because everyone can serve. And to take these days and look back and reflect along the long way that we've come, and we've come a mighty long way, but then also reflect on how much more we have to get done and recognize it's going to take each and every one of us working in the interest of justice, working in the interest of peace, working in the interest of loving each other and being fierce in what we do, but also fierce in our opposition to the devil's work that tries to destroy us and deter us every single day. It's a great day of celebration. We're so happy to be here at King Park today.
Well, we want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for all that you do. You have Dr. Tisdale here as your keynote speaker. What do you think about him? He knew Dr. King. He met Dr. King when he was a student back in 1965.
I don't think you can, and I say this with every bit of sincerity, I don't believe that you can look at any college or university, I'm not talking about HBCUs, any college or university, and the path and the trajectory that it may have taken over the last 20 years and find any university that compares to what Dr. Tisdale and Mrs. Tisdale, the other Dr. Tisdale, have done at Claflin University. It's been remarkable and something that I use as a symbol of pride everywhere I go in this country and world.
Well, I can say this. Not only do you take it as a symbol of pride, you've incorporated that same trajectory in your own administration. And I'm not saying, well, maybe I am biased, but I'm saying that that's what you're doing for the city of Columbia, and we're all very proud of that.
Well, Harvey, thank you so much. Thank you for all the work that you do in promoting the positive images we always try to present and sharing the messages and getting the word out. We're in this together. We can create a community, a city, a state, a country where our children can truly live up to their God-given potential if we give them the chance. And that's what we're all doing together.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so very much.
God bless you, brother.